Good afternoon, Tanya. So nice to see you.
Hello, good afternoon.
I am very happy that you're here today to share your story with me, with the future viewers of this video. I'm going to begin with a short introduction. I'll read your biography. I'll tell you a little bit about me and about the project, and then we'll have a conversation about your life. Okay?
Okay.
Great. All right, so let me read your bio. Tanya Garcia was born and grew up in Jiquilisco, El Salvador. She moved to the United States in 2020 and now lives with her family in District Heights, Maryland. She speaks Spanish and English. Tanya has been a student at Montgomery College since 2023 and is majoring in early childhood education, special education. Her career goal is to become a special education teacher. In her spare time, she enjoys spending time in nature, going hiking and going to the beach, and reading about history. Wonderful. As you know, my name is Heather Bruce Satrom, and I teach an ELAP, English Language for Academic Purposes, at Montgomery College. This project is called History in the Making, documenting stories of immigrant and refugee students at Montgomery College. The goal is to help others better understand the experiences of immigrants and refugees in the United States. And telling your story will enable others to better understand the challenges that immigrants and refugees face and better appreciate the resilience and perseverance of people in your community. I am grateful for your participation. You had a chance to read the questions in advance, but please note that all of the questions are optional. If you want to skip a question, that's fine, just let me know. And if at any point you would like to take a break, that's fine too. And the interview will take about an hour. So today is Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. Could you please tell me your full name?
My name is Tania Melissa Garcia Manzano.
And do I have permission to record this interview?
Yes.
Great. So let's begin by talking a little bit about the place where you were born and where you grew up. Can you tell me about the small city or town where you grew up in El Salvador?
Yes, I was born in Jiquilisco 27 years ago. And that's not a big city, and it's close to the coast of El Salvador, Pacific coast. So it is famous because of its bay. There is a bay close to my house where I can go there like in 15 minutes up there. And the weather, that's something important for me. Weather is hot, or I don't know how would you describe that, but it's not like here. So
it's a very chilly day today for April.
Yes. Yes, but it's nice. It's a nice place to go and see what you can find there. Sometimes weekends, the people of the community, they make like local market. They sell food, prepare food, fruits, handcrafts, and things like that. It's a very touristic place too.
It sounds like a lovely place to grow up.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your family when you were growing up? Who did you live with?
I lived with my parents and my sister, my mom and my dad. Um, we lived there all the time. So my parents moved there when they got married, and because of my mom's work, was easy for them to live there. And yeah, that's the only place that like I live like my entire life.
Tell me a little bit about the work that your parents did.
My parents are teachers. My mom, she works at a local school there. My dad, now he's working at the administration area, but he's still in education. So they have been working for like 35 years in that.
And you want to become a teacher too?
Yes, almost all my family is full of teachers. Almost all of them.
Tell me a little bit about your education growing up in El Salvador. What were your schools like?
I went to the local school in my city, but just for like 5 years, and then my parents moved my sister and me to only girls school in another city. So we finished our elementary school there.
Mm-hmm.
So and then I went back to my city to finish high school. And after that, I went to the capital city to study at the university. I live in a dangerous city there because it was close to where I was studying. So I finished my degree there, 5 years. I graduated in 2018.
So you graduated with a degree in education?
No.
No.
Oh, no, it's in tourism.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And what made you decide to go in a different direction?
I like to interact with children. It's something that I always was interested to do, but I don't know why I chose to do something different when I went to university. But I like that too.
You like tourism and
yeah.
education. Yeah. Well, when people
Yeah.
are tourists, they're always learning too. So
Yes.
it's kind of connected to education, perhaps.
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason why you wanted to focus on special education? What led you to that decision?
There is not a particular reason. I just find that area interesting, but I like to I would like to understand how kids act the way like they act or why they have certain problems. And because I always listen to my mom, this child has this problem, and my mom, she's not a special education teacher, but she always tries to help them to understand what's going on with them. Maybe it's something that is related with their family or maybe not. So that's why I was maybe interested in that.
There's a big need for special education teachers in this area. So it's very good that you're interested in that. I have no doubt you will find a job working in special education. I'm curious about what circumstances led you to decide to move to the United States. You have family, you describe a really beautiful hometown, you had a degree in tourism, but something made you decide to leave your home country and come here. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. When I finished my education in El Salvador, I tried to get a job. I got into something not related to my career. So I just stayed there like for 3 months. And also the other thing is like, I don't like the insecurity in El Salvador. As I told you before, when I was studying, I lived in it's supposed it is one of the most dangerous cities in El Salvador. I never had a problem there. Nothing bad happened to me, but I saw bad things to other people. I lost my phone like twice, my wallet, because I used to take the public transportation there. So one day I was with my sister and I said, "Where is my phone? I have my backpack and my phone is not here. My wallet is not here." Somebody stole it, but nothing like dangerous to me. but I saw things like in front of the university, something bad happened. I used to live in dorms, like you say here.
Mm-hmm.
There, so the university was across the street where I was living, but was like the people who are in that place, like the administrators of that place, I don't know, maybe they used to tell us, when you come back from class, call us so we can go there and help you to come back here. Or if you are leaving to class, you had to tell me because something bad may happen. So we used to do that. We used to tell this person, oh, I'm leaving to class. Can you come with me and take me to class? Something like that. So that was like, I think two of the reasons I didn't feel like safe there. And also I didn't find my place there, like where I'm going to work now. What I was doing there, it was like 10 hours there, spent the entire day inside of an office, just taking phone calls all day. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to do something different, spend time with people, not just taking those phone calls and just that.
What kind of business did you work for in El Salvador?
There's a call center. So the place call center where people call customer service,
Oh,
like
I
for
see.
customer service, but there are different companies. There, the company that I was working for was from Canada. So that was in French because I also speak a little French. So our work was take those phone calls and help the people to solve their cell phone problem.
I see.
A telephone company.
Were the
Or
customers sometimes grumpy or impatient when they called?
yes, or maybe that was not my case, but there are some of them that they had to solve things like, I want to send this package for you. Maybe a phone call company wants to sell you this, or a hotel, or anything.
So you found yourself living in a city where you felt that there was a lot of crime and you didn't feel safe. And you also were unhappy with the work opportunities that you had. You were not working in tourism, what you studied. You did not enjoy your job, it sounds like. So
Yeah.
you had an idea then to move to the United States. Can you tell me a little bit about how you were able to come? Did you have extended family here? Did you come as an international student? How did you, what was the process of coming here?
Well, I have family here in Maryland and in different parts here in the country. But the way that I came here, it wasn't because, it was because I got into a cultural exchange program.
Hmm.
So when I came first here in that program, I went to Colorado. So I lived there with a American family
Interesting.
for a year. And after that, well, the family, they decide that they don't need me anymore because my work there was to take care of the children. Well, in that case, they were like almost babies. They were 2 years. So if the case is, if they are going to school, I had to take them to school, help them with homework, feed them if they are babies. So that family, she decided to, she left the program. So I moved to another family.
Were you an au pair?
Yes.
Okay. So you were an au pair in Colorado. Interesting.
Yes. And I stayed there with them just for a year. And after that, I went to California. Um, I went to Connecticut with this last family. I finished my 2 years last year, November. I went back to El Salvador for 2 months and I applied for the student visa. And then I came back here this year. But since the beginning, I had in my mind to come here, like I said, save some money and go maybe where my family is. So my first place of the list always was Maryland. I have family in Houston, but I don't like that place much. So I came here to visit them when I was in au pair. I saw the place, I like it. And then I came back last year with my sister to see again. And that's how I end here.
So it's interesting to me that you've had the opportunity to travel to different states in the United States and have an experience in Colorado. Did you say California as well?
Yes.
And you went to Houston, Texas. So you got to see different parts of the country and different regions, but you decided to come to Maryland for your education. What was it that appealed to you about living in Maryland?
Well, I have my family here and I'm close to them. So since I came here, I used to talk with one of them almost every week. And she used to tell me, yeah, you should come here. This is a good place. and we can live here together. I live with them here. So
when you say my family here, do you mean extended family like aunts and uncles and cousins?
Yes, cousins.
Okay.
Yeah, my cousin.
You're living with cousins now?
Yeah, with her husband, and children. Well, they are like my age now. She's like 50, I guess. Yeah.
How did you first hear about Montgomery College?
When I was looking for information for college here in Maryland, this was the first one that came to my list. I just found this on the internet. I didn't know anything about Montgomery College. So, and I found this college like interesting for me. And I said, it's close to my family's house. And yeah, I don't know. And then I read the careers and I said, oh, okay, they have this degree and I saw the options that I was able to get in. So that was interesting for me.
Did your work as an au pair lead you to the decision to work in early childhood education and special education? Do you think that connected, that experience made you more interested in learning about education?
Yes, because I went to 3 different families and the 3 of them, they are different. So I found interesting. The first one, well, they were 2 years, but they were twins, but they were different. And one of them, the boy, he has special needs. So they wasn't in school yet, but I knew what was his situation. And then I went to this family in California, 2 boys, 2 completely different situation and different ages. They are in school, and the last family in Connecticut, it's a boy too. That's another story. And this summer I'm going to Connecticut to see them. Yes, and I think that was one of the reason that I moved to this, because before to be an au pair, I used to say I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to do the same as my parents and my aunts and all of them. I want to do something different. But yeah, when I came here and started working as an au pair, I changed my mind.
It's very challenging work to work with small children, especially children with special needs.
Yes.
Requires a lot of energy and attention. But it can also, I imagine, be a very rewarding job. What was your experience like working with children? Did you find it enjoyable? Did you find it challenging? Tell me about it.
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Yes, challenging because sometimes they are like energetic, yes, but there is something else. Maybe they are not getting all the attention that they want or they need. So they start acting aggressive or something like that. In my case, that wasn't a good experience because I had to deal with all these situations, aggressive things coming from the children, and parents do nothing when they see that. So that was hard for me to understand why your child is hitting me and you are not doing anything. You are not saying anything to that child. That child is saying bad things to me. Things like that.
That sounds very challenging.
Yes.
But you're going to see one of the families in Connecticut this summer. So was that experience more positive with that family?
Yes.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about that? Your experience with the third family or the second family?
The third family. This is a single mom and a boy. He's 6 now. But I always say that when you are a parent, because I heard this from this mom in Colorado. She told me that she is like afraid to raise her children alone because her husband died. So she told me, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm alone with them. But I remember that I used to tell her, yes, they just have you, but if you do your job as a mother to give them like all the love or attention that they need, I don't think it's gonna be like hard. I'm not mom yet, so maybe I'm not the best person who can say these kind of things, but my experience with those moms that are single mom, I think was good because I don't know if the fact that they are single is making the difference between how the child behaves and how the child is in school or how the child treats a person. Because I found the other side with this family where mom and dad is there, but children are like, it's like they don't have a parent. It seems that maybe they come from, I don't know where, but they are just aggressive children. And what are the parents?
That's interesting. Of course, every single family is different, right?
Yeah.
But I imagine that having the chance to live with 3 different American families, you had an experience that many other people from other countries don't have, like the chance to actually live with a family on a day-to-day basis, to see the routines, the family interactions. What did you notice what did you notice about living with American families that struck you as particularly interesting compared to family dynamics in El Salvador? Did you notice something different about attitudes towards raising children, or about parental involvement, or about discipline? What struck you as particularly interesting?
The way that they talk with the children,
Say more about that. That's interesting.
it's like, in my case, for me, I live, I was raised by mom and dad. What for them is like, yes, I remember my mom, they used to talk with my sister and me. And I remember that they always say that when they were children, everything was different for them from them. Spank in El Salvador is common. And yeah, my mom, she used to do that with me. And not in a bad way, but I know that there are cases that's terrible. Yeah, I know that. And here is like, that doesn't exist here. They just talk with the child, or they explain. I like that way, that where they say, they explain why they cannot do something or why they are gonna do it. And I find that interesting, and I like that way. Also, the time when they spend time together is like, I find here like parents are more into that, like dad and mom. In my case was, yes, if I had to do something like go something else, it was with my mom. My dad, he wasn't there. He was like, well, I had to work. And we used to spend more time with mom than dad. So, and here I see that they try to go together. They try to take the kids, like maybe weekends, let's go to the park and let's go to have an ice cream, some things like that. And Salvador is like more, yeah, we go to the beach, but let's wait for vacation, holidays. Going to the park is not like common. What? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. So did you find that American fathers are involved with their children? Was that your experience?
Well, yes, I think. Yeah.
And would you say that the American families that you spent time with, they prioritized family time on the weekend?
Yes. It's like weekends is like some special here, because it's the time where they can go out together. They don't work. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you mentioned in your bio that you really enjoy being in nature. You mentioned the beach and hiking, and you had an opportunity to live in some really beautiful places. When I think about hiking, I think about Colorado and California.
California.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the natural places that you discovered in the United States that you found particularly beautiful, or places that are meaningful to you.
Well, in Colorado, I used to go hiking there most of the time, and there is a place that is called Garden of the Gods.
Oh, in Colorado Springs.
Famous,
I know,
yes.
yeah, I know that area. That's a really beautiful area with rock formations in Colorado.
Yes.
Garden of the Gods. Yes, tell me more about that.
I went there like 3 times, and that's a beautiful place. And well, I think Colorado is like more going to the mountain or
Mountains?
do hiking. I didn't find something else to do there. So, but And then in California, there is more to do there. I always wanted to go to any of those national parks like Yosemite or Yellowstone, but I didn't have the opportunity yet. And I lived in San Francisco, which is like, I think 3 or 4 hours from Yosemite, but I couldn't go there. But there is a place there named Angel Island, which is an island, is a state park, I guess. And that island was used like 100 years ago they used to send immigrants there to do like quarantine or something. When they came here and sent them there for I don't know how many days. And there are buildings there where these immigrants used to live during that time. But since it's close to San Francisco, from there you can see the Golden Gate, Alcatraz, and the city. It's a beautiful place there.
And how about in this area? Have you discovered any natural places that are important to you?
Connecticut. Well, I went to Block Island and Martha's Vineyard. Yes.
Those are beautiful places. Did you go bicycling in Block Island?
No. Oh, Block Island. Yes.
In Rhode Island?
Yeah, and here, well, with this family in Colorado, I went to South Carolina because they live there now. And we went to the beach there, Moro Beach, but I always say beaches here are not like in El Salvador. I went to Block Island too, and Martha's Vineyard, and it's different.
How is it different?
I think it's the weather. El Salvador is tropical. You can see those coconut trees. The sun, the water is warm. It's not cold like here.
The beaches in New England are definitely colder, for sure. The water is colder. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I imagine that before you came to the United States, you probably had some ideas in your head about what America would be like. Often students tell me that they have seen American movies or they have seen television programs and they have this idea about America. And then when they get here, it's different. Was that your experience?
I remember I used to watch those movies like Christmas movies, famous in El Salvador. And before to come here as an au pair, I came to visit my family, but I just went to Houston. So I didn't see much. But I had the idea because my family here, they say how the life is here. But I think that living with your own family here, like the experience is different. Like living like with an American family. It's because you change the food that you eat. Now that I live with my family, I eat food, Salvadorian food. And when I was living with this American family, well, I had to eat what they eat to change some things. And yes, like here is like more, you need a car to go somewhere, not like in El Salvador. We didn't have a car in El Salvador until like 5 years ago. We used to use the public transportation to go anywhere, even to go to the beach. That's something different that when I first came here, this family told me the car is there. If you want to go out, you can use it. but I was afraid to do that because how I'm gonna do this, because I had to drive in the highway, and that's something that in El Salvador is not common. There is no highway in El Salvador. So after a week, I just took that car and I drove to a store, and I just went there like for 30 minutes, and then I went back home. But that was something like I said, I can't believe that I did this.
And I see that you're in a car now.
I am in a car, my car.
And do you sometimes drive on the Beltway now?
I do every day.
Do you feel less afraid now, more confident in your?
Yes.
I think the car culture is certainly something that a lot of students remark upon when they come here, having to learn how to drive. I mean, there's public transportation here, but it is hard to get around without a car in the United States in general. I think that's an interesting observation for sure. The DC area and the area in Montgomery County, Maryland, we have a very large Salvadoran community here. So I think it's interesting when you mentioned that now that you're living with extended family, you have a chance to eat Salvadoran food. Sometimes my Salvadoran students tell me about how pupusas are so important to them. Is that a food that is one of your favorites? If you would pick one, yeah.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about Salvadoran food?
I think pupusas are the common thing in El Salvador. You can find them everywhere. Everywhere you go, there is a person making pupusas and you can buy. I like almost all of them. I'm good eating pupusas. I'm not good making that one. I made pupusas for this Colorado family, and they liked it. My boy, he's special needs and he has a special diet. So that was something that he used to ask me every week. Can you make pupusa for me? I want pupusa. And that was good for his diet too.
That's a nice way to share your culture with the family.
Yes, yes. And she told me, the mom told me that she tried to make pupusas, and the boy said that he didn't like it because those pupusas wasn't like mine.
You made authentic pupusas.
Yes. And but there is more food that we eat, like let's say something that is made out of dry fish. It's common during Easter. We don't call it Easter in El Salvador. It's Holy Week.
Holy Week.
And yeah, that's a religious celebration or holiday. The entire week is for the people who are Catholics. They do these things like about crucifixion. Mm-hmm. Jesus crucifixion, and people prepare food like this thing they call fish. I don't know how to say this in English. It's like something
eating fish on Good Friday. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, not eating meat. But there are more things that they prepare during that week. Sweet things like with mangoes, bananas, all mixed together. They make something sweet that is called like a conserva. And there is also some, I don't know, well, my mom, she doesn't prepare that, but it's called torrejas. It's made out of bread, sweet bread. What they use this sweet thing that is kind of brown, Those are good. And for Christmas, it's more like the chicken, like here, what is it? Thanksgiving. You prepare the turkey and things like that. So it's similar Christmas. I mean, people prepare like chicken or some of them turkey for dinner, and a lot of fireworks in El Salvador all night. New Year's too, the same, fireworks all night, music everywhere, every house. If the person is religious, you won't find that. Well, in my case, my mom, she's Christian, she's not Catholic. And my dad, he was raised in a Catholic family, but he doesn't go to church. It's not because he doesn't believe, but he doesn't have time to go. So my mom, she goes to church like almost every Sunday. And like the celebrations, like Christmas and New Year celebration in my house is like just dinner. And when I was a child was those fireworks things and just that. Now we don't spend our money in that because my mom said that's a waste of money buying fireworks and then it's like you're throwing that money. So the pollution during that week is bad because the smoke of the fireworks, and if you have allergies, it's not good for you. I always get sick during that week, so I don't do that because of the smoke. I had to spend the night in the house, not outside, because there is a lot of smoke everywhere.
You mentioned that your mom's religious faith is very important to her. Do you also feel like that's important to you?
Yes. Before to come here, that wasn't like important for me. I didn't say that to her. But now that I came here, yes, I'm not going to church now. When I was in Colorado, I used to go to a church every Sunday. And now I think different. And sometimes when I go to church, I feel like different. I think that's something that made me feel better. It's not because I want to do all the traditional things that they teach us in church, but going to church is something like is giving me like sometimes peace.
Yeah, a lot of students have talked about that, about how in the interviews that I've done, about how their faith community is very important to them. And here in this area, of course, as we started talking about earlier, there's a large Salvadoran community. So is it important to you to be a part of the Salvadoran community here, either through a church or through extended family or through organizations? Do you feel like here you have an opportunity to still be a part of your Salvadoran culture because of the large community here?
Yes. Well, church, I think that I had to find the right place, because if I don't like something, that's just gonna make me feel like I don't want to go there again. So, but I would like to go to a place where I can feel like in my country, or talk with people like about things that we do in El Salvador, or do things that we do there. And now I didn't find a place where I feel comfortable going. And I just came here like this year. I didn't have the time to look for a place. What my family here, they go to church. They go every week. Same religion as me, but I didn't find a place that it is my place. So that's why I stopped going there. I didn't talk, I didn't say anything about that to them, but yeah.
I think this idea of finding your place is an interesting one. A lot of students talk about the idea of home, like what is home? Some students think of the place where they grew up as home in their home country. Some students now feel like they've found a home here. When you hear the word home, what do you think of?
I think in my family, my parents, especially my parents, my sister, just then. And I don't think that I can go here home because, well, I just came here like 2 years. And of course that I would like to learn from this country more from this country and try different things. And maybe if in 10 years I'm still here, maybe I would call this country home. But now I just think home, okay, my parents, my house back in Salvador, and that's all.
Do you envision completing your education here and then working in the public schools here and building a future here in Maryland or somewhere else in the United States? Or do you imagine going to school, maybe working for a while and then returning to your home country? Or do you not know?
Well, I would like to say, I had to say this. I would like to stay here, but something that I learned during these 2 years is I don't know what's gonna happen next year or next month. So I came here, I went to Colorado, and then 8 months later, I was in another state, and then I went to another place, and I'm moving all the time.
Well, it's a lot of change.
Yes, moving all the time. And yes, if I stay here, I would like to work in a public school here. And I have family here and friends that they are teachers too. So
Moving from place to place can be very exciting and interesting, but it also can be stressful.
yes.
Have you found that the process of adapting to new places has been challenging?
Yes, exciting because if it is the first time that I'm going there, good, because I'm gonna go to that place and that I have never been before. And stressful because I don't know no one there. I don't have friends there, like Connecticut. I like that place, like beautiful houses everywhere, views, but I don't have like friends there. Well, I know this family there, but just that. So if I think going back there, like maybe live there, I don't want to do that. I didn't find a place for me there. So going there is like for a week, 2 weeks, and just that to see friends and that's all. But I think I want to stay in a place where I know people, like my family or people from my country. And so move to another state now for me, no, I don't want to move again.
I don't blame you. I think something interesting that you said earlier was that when you lived in your home country, that you at times felt that you were not safe. Do you feel safe here? This country also has problems with gun violence. So do you feel safer here, or do you feel like there are also challenges related to safety in this area?
I don't feel 100% safe here. It's not only because like there are shootings all the time. It's just something that happened to me now is like I'm with a friend here, but who speaks Spanish, but I don't want to speak Spanish in front of other people that don't, because I know that there are people here that if they hear a person speaking another language, they treat that person bad just because it is an immigrant. And what I do is not to talk. I don't want to talk in front of those people. And when I come here, the first time that I came to class here, I saw this sign in the building saying what to do when a talker comes here.
Yes.
And I said, this never happens in El Salvador, like in that way, like shooting. There are not signs like that in El Salvador, in schools in El Salvador, but there are other things that doesn't make me feel safe.
I know those signs that you're talking about, what to do if there's an active shooter.
Yes. And I never saw anything like that in El Salvador. I saw other things like killing people in front of my house. Something that was like stressful for me in El Salvador. Like 8 years ago, I used to like see through the window in front of my house if in front of my house there is a church, and these guys, they used to stand in front of the church just waiting for people to pass by them and stop them and ask for money, or they will do anything to them if they don't give money. I used to watch before to go out to see are they there or no, because sometimes even if you live in that neighborhood, they don't care. They're gonna do anything to do if you don't give what they want. I have family in Canada, and my cousin and my uncle, they went to my house to visit us. And I remember that my cousin, he was outside in front of my house. And one of those guys was in front of the church. So when I saw him coming to my cousin, I just said to my mom, he's coming to him. And my mom came out, and she didn't say anything, that she just came out of the house and just stand in front of him to stop him, because he was about to do something to my cousin. He was about to do something. And since that time, they didn't go to El Salvador. They are not going to El Salvador. It's like 8 years ago. And they said, we are not going again.
That sounds like a very scary experience.
Yeah.
You mentioned that sometimes you don't want to speak Spanish in front of other people. Do you feel like there's discrimination against Latinas and Latinos in this country, or do you feel like you're stereotyped sometimes, like people have false ideas or generalizations about immigrants or about people from the Hispanic community? Have you faced that?
No, personally, but I have watched videos that about those situations, and that's why I feel like not uncomfortable talking Spanish, speaking Spanish in front of other people. And there are people here that think that like immigrants are bad, or that they come here just to do bad things, or they are stealing jobs here. And well, I don't know. My family came here. My aunt, she came here like 35 years ago. There was a civil war in El Salvador, or before that, I guess. She came here, and she has been here for all that time here. And well, she just came to work because she had two children in El Salvador. And yeah, all my family that came here, they just came for that reason. Civil war in El Salvador, and some of them, well, the younger, my cousin, because insecurity, or they want to help their families. Because I have a cousin in San Francisco that she came here. She's as a refugee here. And she came here with her son, but her daughter was in El Salvador. Almost all her family. And it's been like 5 or 6 years since she came here. But since she came here, she was sending money all the time to her family. And now almost all her family is here. Only her mom and one of her sisters are in El Salvador. She brought her daughter, her sister with her husband and child, and her 3 brothers are here too. Like in 5 years, all of them are here. And she's the kind of person that she can't go back to El Salvador. She cannot go there. And it's not because she was doing bad things. Sometimes you can't trust a person in El Salvador because you don't know what that person is doing or her family is doing. And my cousin, he had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend's brother was in gangs. He wasn't in that thing. He wasn't doing those things, but he was almost killed in El Salvador because his brother-in-law was in those things, and he didn't know that. The same day that happened to him, that was like he just ran away from the town where he was living, and he came here. He didn't stop to anywhere. He just came here because the police there, or the gangs that are from the other band, they know that you have family or friends that are in those things. They are gonna try to do something to do. So with her, that was the case, and her brothers too. They were like kidnapped in El Salvador for the military, and they have a friend there that that friend told them where they were. And that's the only reason that's why they knew about them. And I don't know what they did to get them back, but they had to move from where they were living to another place, and then they came here. So
I'm glad you shared that story, because I think it's important for Americans to understand the conditions that lead people to leave their countries and to start a new life. And so your description of the gang violence and the fear, I think that's an important part of the story that you shared. So I'm glad that you did that. I think it's important for American people to understand those conditions. Is there anything else that you think is important for American people to understand about the Salvadoran experience or about the immigrant experience? Anything that you want to share about the difficulties of coming here or starting a new life?
Well, when we come here, we had to leave our families there. So I I think that I am like blessed person that I came here in good situation. I'm not a I don't have problems going back to El Salvador, but I don't want to go back because I don't feel like it's my place. And sometimes when people come here, they have family, children there, and they had to leave then, and they don't know if they are going to see them again. And my case is different. It's not like that because I am able to see my parents. They can come here. My sister can come here. I can go back there. It's not a problem for me. If something bad happened to them, I can go there. So, but what happened with those people that they come here, but they cannot go back? If they go back, so they won't be able to go back here because they will have to do this, all the same trip from the country to here, spend a lot of money. And yeah, that's hard.
It's a lot of upheaval. It's
Mhm.
very challenging. Something that you mentioned earlier had to do with language, and I find that interesting and sad that you don't want to speak Spanish in certain contexts, because I think being bilingual is something important to be able to speak more than one language. So I'm curious about your experience learning academic English at Montgomery College. It's different than the kind of English you might need to work as an au pair in a family, right? So
Yeah.
are you taking ELA 980 now, the writing class?
90, 990. Yeah.
You're 9990,
Mm-hmm.
the capstone course. Okay. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about how that course is helping you with your academic English. Is it challenging?
I don't find it challenging because uh, when I was at university in El Salvador, I used to take English classes, academic English too. So I used to do what we are doing now in this class. I used to do that back in El Salvador. So it's not easy, but I have an idea what to do. Uh, but I'm still learning. I have been learning new things in this class, and the way that people teach here is different than in El Salvador. And it's not only in this English class, math. I'm taking math too, and then it's like I like math now than before. So it's different. The way the system is different, and I like.
Can you describe a little bit the differences that you've noticed? You said that the way people teach here is different.
Yes. Well, I think El Salvador is like more teachers are old school teachers, and and maybe it's because they don't have the skills or all the supplies to teach. My mom's a teacher, and she every year she has to face different things. She doesn't have like things like material for activities. or the space, the classroom is in bad condition. The the weather is not helping, and yeah, I think in El Salvador, people don't take too serious the education part. Not only government, also parents too. Because if the child tells the parent, "I don't want to go to school," they just say, "Okay, you're not going to school," just because the child doesn't want to go to school. And yes, or if it is oh, it's raining. Okay, you are not going to school because it's raining. Yeah, that.
You
That's
mentioned that it sounded like you were surprised that you enjoy math now. Do you think that's because there's a different approach to teaching math that you're experiencing at Montgomery College?
Yes, and also because I had a bad experience in El Salvador with math teachers in El Salvador, so it was hard for me to go to that class and try to understand. And it's like I don't know what they think or how they try to teach math, but it's different. I come here and it's like we are in this class taking doing basic things like adding or subtraction, and now I know that there are different ways to do that, not only one, and I am just like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know many things before this class.
What has helped you in your education at Montgomery College? What has been useful to you? Do you, for example, go to the Writing Center, or do you get math tutoring? Do you use the Academic Success Centers or the library? What kind of resources do you use to help you be successful in college?
Writing Center. I think that I still need to improve that part. And math, oh, I'm not that good in math, but I think I'm doing good. So yes, I have never been to the library yet. I was taking this psychology class and it is an online book, so I didn't go there yet. And something that I like from it that there is what is it called? Uh, I forgot. What is it called when the teacher has the time if I need to go to office hour?
Office hours.
Office hours. Yes, that the office hours. I think that's something that I like here too. Yeah.
Do you feel welcome when you go to office hours?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Is that something that's offered in Salvadoran universities? No.
Well, they say if you have a question, you can come here and I can help you, but it's not like something like they are open to do it all the no.
So in general, do you feel like Montgomery College professors are welcoming and helpful?
Yes, all of them.
Do you have any advice if you met a new student at Montgomery College? What advice would you give him or her to be successful in their pursuit of education?
Try to use all the all these things. What do you say? Sorry.
Resources.
Resources. All the resources, ask questions. Office hours are important too. Yeah, because if there is something that you didn't understand during class or something that you missed, you can go and ask the teacher. Yes, and be positive.
Another question that I had that is related to supporting family back home. Sometimes students tell me that there's a lot of pressure on them to send money back home. Do you feel that kind of pressure to help out your family back home?
No, no, maybe because my parents they have a good financial condition there. It's not important, and all these 2 years was for me like to explore here, to go everywhere, and I don't feel like that. I would like to do it at some point, but I can't do it now. Maybe 3 or 4 years, but I don't feel that pressure.
If you imagined your future, where you will be and what you will be doing 5 years from now, what do you imagine or hope for?
Working like as a teacher, or maybe something that I want to do is to validate my degree from El Salvador too, so I can have two options here. And yeah, maybe here in Maryland. I don't know, but that's something important to finish my major here. Maybe if I had the opportunity to go to university, I'm gonna do it and find a job and just
When things feel challenging or you feel discouraged, what helps you to keep going and to stay motivated?
now I just think, yes, some things are hard to do it. Sometimes you have hard situations, but I just think nothing is impossible. I just say it's not impossible to do it. It's just gonna be a little bit hard, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get there.
And what emotions are you feeling now telling your story about your life? How do you feel?
I feel proud of myself because being like here like alone, not with my parents, is like something that I never like came to my mind before. So I'm here. I feel proud that all this time I was like, yeah, just me. And now I live with my family here, but I feel like it's still just me because my parents are not here. Yeah.
You're becoming more independent.
Yes. Mhm.
That's a good feeling, I imagine. Is
Yeah.
there anything else you would like to share about your story that you haven't mentioned yet? Anything about your home country or about your reasons for coming to the United States or about your experiences here?
No, that's all.
I did have one last question,
Mhm.
and that is also related to language. When you're learning a second or third language, it's really important to practice it a lot, right? And if you live with extended family who speaks your first language, and if you have friends who are also from your home country, or if you live in a community with a lot of speakers of your first language, does that make it hard to improve your English?
Yes. Yes, it's hard. Even here, I have a friend, she's from El Salvador too. At the beginning, well, I didn't know that she was from El Salvador, so we were speaking in English. Then she say, "Where are you from?" "I'm from El Salvador." "Oh, okay." So and then everything changed. So we don't speak English anymore. So that yeah, that's difficult to improve because yeah, if you are around people who speak a language, you are going to speak that language more and improve it more. So yeah.
It's challenging because it's so easy to speak with another native speaker in your own language, right? It's just
Yeah.
comfortable, easy. And I remember I had that experience when I was living in France in my 20s, and there were lots of Americans there, and it was so easy if I spent time with them to just speak English. But my goal was to learn to speak French better. So I had to discipline myself and force myself to continue to speak French and to try to read it. What do you do to try to force yourself to immerse yourself in English here? Do you? Is that something that's important to you?
Yeah, it's important. Uh, try to look for English speakers friends. Yeah, yeah, that's the only way I think because I'm not a person who's going to get into a class like just by myself. I know that now there are those apps and things. I, I'm I'm not that person. Not that person. It's more like yeah, if I have a person, a friend who's good, I'm gonna do it. Or if I had to take that class, well, I will have to take the class. But if it is optional, okay, no.
Are you making friends from other countries? Montgomery College is so diverse. There's so many different countries represented at Montgomery College. Have you met people from different parts of the world?
Yes. In the English class, there is this girl from France. And where is she from? Cote d'Ivoire. She
Cote
speaks
d'Ivoire,
French.
Ivory
Cote
Coast?
d'Ivoire. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Ethiopia. Yeah.
So are you learning about other cultures in addition to American culture?
I just talked with this girl from Cote d'Ivoire, and I told her I speak a little bit of French, and she the next day she came to me and speaking of French.
There's lots of opportunities at Montgomery
Ye-
College to keep learning
yes,
different languages. And
yes. Mhm.
interesting. Have you made any lasting friendships or important friendships here, or have you gotten involved with any student life activities or any organizations on campus?
No, not yet, but I would like to do it.
Great. Well, I hope you do. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's all.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.